Winter is kicking in over here in the UK, so please excuse my use of jumpers at the moment because it is getting cold. Anyway, for today's video, how many of you have been on the longest escalator in Australia? It's in Melbourne, and let's find out a little bit more about it because apparently it is quite dangerous.
I'm outside Parliament Station in Melbourne, and this is the site of the longest escalators in the Southern Hemisphere.
I do want to know, please do let me know in the comments because I know there's quite a few from Melbourne. Have you been on this escalator? How dangerous did you think it was?
And it turns out they're some of the most dangerous too. I'm going to take you inside, show you what it feels like, and explain why that is. This is Parliament Station, and this video is going to be a little bit different because rather than featuring in it, I want to do my best to share what the feeling is like to ride these escalators and explain why they really are the most dangerous in Australia. So on your way to the station, you're going to be greeted by these bold signs that...
Hang on. Please hold the handrail when using the escalator. Get a grip, don't slip. 85% of escalator incidents of Parliament Station involve falling backwards when travelling upwards on the moving escalator. Why would you move? So, are they very steep? This is before I actually see. Are they very steep? It's quite often when you walk in some UK homes, in some of the older homes, the going up and down the stairs are so steep and not very wide, or not very deep, sorry. And so you almost feel like you're going to fall backwards if you're walking up or down. So maybe they're not very deep, I don't know.
They talk about the risk of these escalators. And the process of using Parliament Station is just like any other in the Melbourne Metro. There is one thing which is a bit different though. All of this yellow signage talking about the escalator danger.
It's a lot of signage.
But let's do it. And this is what the escalator looks like
normal.
from the top. That is a long way down.
Looks very steep.
And it doesn't take long to start to feel that you're more in a tunnel than you are on a set of moving stairs. And that is part of the issue.
I would say I don't have a lot of experience going down escalators like this. This is the sort of thing you do see in a sort of a metro station or an underground station, what we'd call. And I've only taken the underground in London once, so I don't have a lot of experience. But straight away from this view, I think this is a perfect point to pause the video because if you're looking from this view, it's almost that tunneling down in your vision. Making it look longer than it possibly even is. Yeah, it looks very steep.
Parliament Station is part of the Melbourne Metro City Loop, and this station opened in 1983 and has since become one of the busiest in the city, with around 10 million passengers per year or around 35,000 people per day in normal times. At 30 metres, this escalator is long enough to take the title for the longest single-span escalator south of the equator, but it's still a long way off from the world's biggest.
It's interesting because what I was thinking, and this is before the video started because I didn't watch the video. I very rarely watch the videos before, so you get an honest reaction. But in my head, because it was talking about longest, I was almost thinking about the kind of the level escalators. I don't know if that would be an escalator that you get at places like airports. So it is really, really long. And for some reason, it didn't cross my mind that it's one going down because I'm thinking, how far down do you need to go? Yeah, I don't know why I thought that. Because I suppose 30 metres is a long way, but yeah, things that go through my head and didn't cross an escalator like this. I was thinking like an airport style one.
With one in the St. Petersburg Metro in Russia going for a staggering 138 metres. It's also way longer than the world's shortest, the incredibly cute petite escalator in the basement of a shopping centre in Kawasaki, Japan, which has a journey time of just 8 seconds, long enough to show in full here, which other than scoring a Guinness World Record is utterly useless as it takes you to more stairs. And the duration for this one, well, that gets interesting. From top to bottom it's around 1 minute and 30 seconds, and I say about because the speed of this is actually variable. It's normal for escalators in the city loop to go slowly during off-peak times and faster during peak times to increase the number of people through.
Who knew that? Who knew that escalators went at different speeds in relation to the time of day and how many passengers are going to be on it? Wow, I never knew that. I assumed they all went at the same speed at the whole, at the same times,
But in 2019, Metro Trains began a trial to slow the downward direction during peak times, with the goal of reducing slips, trips and falls. And on that note, that's half our journey done. And once you're here, you can go down another level, you can read the escalator danger signs, or go and catch your train. But I'll share some quick escalator facts. The first operational escalator was patented in 1892 and installed on Coney Island in New York as an amusement. And there was one study from Switzerland on escalator safety, and they found that falls were by far the biggest cause of injury, in particular amongst the elderly.
Have you ever fallen on an escalator? I used to find it so funny. My mum used to hate going on escalators, and always the first step on is always the most hesitant step. It is so funny to watch. Rather than just casually stepping on, it was the foot hovering. Will she do it? Won't she do it?
And the injury types and the body regions that were impacted were much the same across the genders, but there was one key difference: injuries associated due to alcohol, which I think might be best summed up by this video. The individual was quoted in the Daily Mail as saying, "I drank 10 pints so I didn't feel any pain until the morning." Metro Trains did a study with RMIT University and found that there were around 2 or 3 serious incidents a week on escalators, with this one of the most dangerous in the network, with injuries from falls resulting in facial cuts, bruises and emergency room visits. So let's head back up and I'll explain why. Now as we take this up, I'm going to face downwards so I can more clearly explain what's going on, but here's a view from the bottom. The safety study looked at 600 plus injuries and found that around half were due to falling backwards while travelling up on the escalator. And that was around twice as many as falling forward while going down. So what were the reasons? Well, the length and the fact that this is so busy in rush hour was part of the problem. But design was also a factor. As you can see, the ceiling of the tunnel descends with the escalators, and the stainless steel reflects some of the lights above, which can lead to spatial disorientation.
I said that, so obviously I said it when you were going down. But you can understand it. You get that tunnel vision, and it's silly because it is a tunnel, but you get that tunnel vision, and it's a little bit like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which is the better version. When you get the room getting smaller, and that's that sort of effect, and it elongates it, and it disorientates your eyes.
And that leads to feelings of dizziness, vertigo and a loss of balance. And this is more likely to affect elderly people, who are the most susceptible to falls on escalators. Another factor is that while you're on it, due to those sloping ceilings, and unlike normal escalators which are open, there's no real horizon reference point. See all these lines? They actually run at 90 degrees to the escalator, not a true horizontal and not a true vertical. And this is one of the reasons why 28% of the falls were by people who had firm footings. To solve this, a campaign has gone up with signage around the station encouraging people to hold on and to avoid distractions, slower speeds have come in, and more announcements, all on this mission to cut the number of injuries.
It's interesting because he says about those signs going up, i.e. hold on. How many people are holding on? No, 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 yes, no. So even with signs, how much is it really helping? Because you can see just from that example, there is one person holding on out of about 6 or 7 people.
Now this escalator might not be Australia's longest for much longer. In Perth, they're constructing the Airport Central Railway Station, which is due to open in 2022, and that's going to include a 35-metre escalator. And let's also hope that some of these safety measures work so it can lose its title as Australia's most dangerous.
With that new one that he just said, you can see from the visuals that it's not a tunnel. It is open, so you are not as disorientated, I would assume. You're not getting that tunnel effect.
I've got more videos about how design is impacting lives, including the world's ugliest colour and how it's saving lives.
This guy's really, really good. I did a video of his a while back now. And he's really informative. Obviously, he's in Australia, so he can do stuff that's... So it's topical to Australia, which is great. So make sure you check his video out. It's interesting. As I said, how many of you have been on the Parliament Station escalator? How many have you felt that sort of disorientation, that elongating and lack of balance, loss of balance that he's talking about? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.